Hi everyone, it's Rax bringing you another Diablo 3 guide. This time I'm going to show you the updated support monk. This is pretty easy to put together and super easy to play, so this is your ticket to doing 150s in a meta group with either a witch doctor or a necromancer. Let's get started. First of all, we are going to take 3 pieces of Ina's with the Ring of Royal Grandeur equipped in order to get our 4-piece bonus. That's going to give us all the mantras to help keep our teammates alive. Also, we will take Yuliana's 2-piece bonus. Every third hit of our spirit generators is going to apply Exploding Palm, and we will take Exploding Palm on our bars because when we put it on our bars, the flesh is weak is going to make enemies take 15% more damage. Now, the reason why we go for Exploding Palm is not because Exploding Palm itself does any damage. The damage dealers, the Witch Doctor and the Necromancer, use a gem called Pain Enhancer. For every bleeding enemy, they gain attack speed, so they deal massive damage. The 2-piece Yuliana's is going to spread the Exploding Palms everywhere and make them get massive value out of their Pain Enhancer gem. And then the Flesh is Weak is going to make the enemies take 15% more damage. Now, there is another way to play this build. I think the other way is worse, but you can do it if you want. What you would do is you would take Strong Arms instead of Spirit Guards, and instead of Exploding Palm, you would take Piercing Trident, Deadly Reach Piercing Trident, and what that does is on the third hit, it's going to apply your Strong Arm buff to give you 30% damage. The reason why I think that this setup is better is it's easier to play, and this setup gives you 15% damage all the time, whereas the other build only gives you 30% extra damage on the Rift Guardian, because there isn't really a good time to Piercing Trident when you're going through a regular Rift with the Witch Doctor or with the Necromancer, because the Necromancer needs to have the stun and his poison cycle to get his Crispin sentence, and also the Witch Doctor needs to have everything stomped after they blow up their first Spirit Barrage in the Oculus Ring, and the monsters cannot be DR'd or being knocked up at that time. They need to be stomped in the middle to die. So all that was a long rant to say, use the Exploding Palm build. Starting with the weapon, Pig Sticker is amazing because it has an insanely fast attack speed. What we are looking for on this entire monk are a few things and a few themes that you will always see. We always want cooldown. We need perfect cooldown on our monk everywhere. We want godly attack speed. We want godly resource cost reduction so we can spam our abilities all the time. And as a secondary on items, we need Health Globe bonus. The Health Globe bonus is going to have a massive impact on how much you can support your characters. And that's the entire purpose of our character, to be support. So one more time, cooldown, attack speed, resource cost, and health globe bonus. For staying alive, we need all resistance absolutely everywhere that we can get it. Another thing that's very smart to do is whenever you can get intelligence as a main stat on anything instead of dexterity, take that. Because in our Paragon Points, we'll be able to put in some dexterity for armor, but we will always be looking for all resistance. So we'll roll all resistance everywhere, and whenever we can get intelligence somewhere, it'll give us more all resist. So the Pig Sticker, int attack speed, life on hit, cooldown, and resource cost is what we're looking for. Storm Shield, amazing survivability item. It's going to make us take 30% less damage. Remember, we want Ancient with the Health Globe roll. Int, all resist, cooldown, and resource is what we're looking for, and of course we're going to augment everything with intelligence for more all resistance. Ina's Sandals, full survivability, Dex, Vit, all resist armor, and if we can get it, we'd like the 2 pickup radius. That's going to help pick up the health globes for the Witch Doctor, and we want the health globe bonus everywhere that it's possible. Captain Crimson's Pants, make sure that you craft these on an intelligence class so we can get some more all resist. Intelligence, Vitality, all resist, and we'd like the pickup radius as a secondary if we can find it. Similarly, Captain Crimson's Belt, craft it on an intelligence class. Intelligence, Fit, all resist, life would be perfect, and if we can get it, let's get the pickup radius. Oculus Ring, this is going to give a ring that our trash clearers can stand in to deal more damage, so as close to 85% is what we're looking for. we're going to roll off the crit hit chance for the socket and take attack speed cooldown and resource cost, and we really need the health globe bonus on the Aki. We will sock it with Gem of Efficacious Toxin. You only have to level this to 25. You don't have to level it any higher. And it's going to make enemies take 10% increased damage and deal 10% less damage. Ring of Royal Grandeur. You acquire this ring from doing bounties. We want attack speed, life on hit, and cooldown if we can find it. We need the health globe bonus on the ring. And we will take Ice Blink. Once again, you do not need to level this beyond 25. It's pretty easy being a support. It's very forgiving. You only have to actually level one gem. And enemies you chill have a 10% increased chance to be crit. It's going to be great for our damage dealers. Juliana's Gloves will take Dex, attack speed, cooldown, and resource cost with the pickup if we can find it. Juliana's Shoulders, all resist, life, cooldown, and resource would be perfect. Again, with the health globe as the secondary. Ina's Helmet, Dex, all resist, and percent life. With, again, if we can find it, the bonus to health globe pickup as the secondary. And we'll sock it with Diamond so we have more cooldown. Ina's Chest, all resistance, life, and reduced damage from elites, and we need the health globe bonus as the secondary, socketing with Diamonds for more all resist to stay alive. The Flavor of Time, all resist, attack speed, cooldown, resource cost, with the health globe bonus is what we're looking for. And we'll take Gogok of Swiftness. This is the only gem in the build you actually have to level up as high as you can. It's going to give us attack speed and dodge and cooldown for every stack that we have. Finally, rounding out the items, we have Spirit Guards, Dex, Vit, all resistant armor with the pickup if we can get it. Our Spirit Generators are going to reduce our damage taken by 60%. Onto the skills, Mantra of Healing. This is going to shroud our allies with a shield, giving them 62,000 damage absorption, but it's increased by 15% of your health globe healing bonus. That shield is what protects all of our teammates, and mainly our trash clearer, from losing their squirts buff, so they can keep dealing maximum damage. That's why the health globe bonus is so important. It's also going to give our allies life regeneration, and the Time of Need rune is very good because it's going to reduce their damage taken by 30% when they drop below 50% life. Sometimes things can go wrong. Sometimes on a festering you can pull 6 elites and 3 of them are arcane, and those arcane beams can chop even the strongest witch doctors. So Time of Need is going to keep them alive in those dangerous situations. Epiphany Soothing Mist. This is why we're taking all the cooldown. We want this to be up all the time. It's going to increase our spirit regeneration so we can spam our abilities, and it's going to let us teleport forward with our crippling wave so we can teleport forward and follow the witch doctor or the necro to wherever the next spot is. And the Soothing Mist rune is going to heal everything, heal everyone in our party for a massive amount, again increased by our health globe bonus. That's why it's so important to get it leveled up. And probably a question that I'm anticipating is going to be asked is, how much health globes do I need to have? Well, if we look over here on the right, wherever it is, the perfect amount of health globe I believe is 270. Here it is. Perfect is 270. The monk that I'm running right now has about 260, but I would say you only need about 180 to be a pretty strong monk. So I would say aim for 180,000 health globe healing bonus, and that should be good enough. Inner Sanctuary, this is going to give our trash clearer a place to stand, and it's going to make them take 55% less damage, and the Temple of Protection rune is going to make them immune to crowd controlling effects. Serenity Tranquility is amazing. It's going to make us immune to damage and immune to crowd control for 3 seconds. It's also going to redirect damage from our allies to us, and we're going to be completely fine. And the shield amount that we give to our allies is once again increased by our health globe bonus. You get the idea. We need as much health globes as possible. Crippling Wave Tsunami. We use this as our generator to generate essence, to move around, to teleport, and also to apply our Ice Blink. People always ask, how do you Crippling Wave during the Rift, and how do you Crippling Wave on the boss? During the Rift, you can just Crippling Wave all the time. Just go for it. On the boss, what you'll see me do is just punch and just wait. Punch and wait. I like to punch once about every 3 seconds to keep the ice blink buff up. But you don't have to spam it on the boss. If you spam it on the boss and you get a bunch of freezes, because the Tsunami rune freezes enemies for 1 second. If you get a bunch of freezes, when the Heaven's Fury Satyr is going to damage on Holy and the boss needs to be stunned by the barb, it will not be a full duration stun and you will miss some damage. So one more time, Crippling Wave all the time, as much as you want during the rift. On the boss, just tap it once every 3 seconds, or enough to just keep your spirit regeneration coming up. Exploding Palm, we don't actually have to take this on our bars, but if we do take it, the flesh is weak, it's going to give us 15% additional damage, so we will use it, and there is a trick with Exploding Palm that we will use. When you're playing with a Witch Doctor or a Necromancer, you're going to be set up in the footage that you're about to see, and you're going to be laying sanctuaries constantly in the same spot so the Witch Doctor can stand there, right? When the Witch Doctor kills an enemy and spawns an Oculus Ring, it's going to be out somewhere and the Witch Doctor is going to move. Well, you may not have your sanctuary up at that time. So what you should do is take Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac and spam Exploding Palm, which is a spender, which will allow you to bring back your sanctuary immediately. You run to the Oculus Ring, you drop a new sanctuary, it's going to guarantee that your Witch Doctor doesn't die. That, I think, is the best combination that you can run. Another option is to take a Fire Immunity Amulet or an Arcane Immunity Amulet if you're a lower Paragon Monk. But I don't have any Augs on my Monk, and I have not died once this entire season because they're so strong. So I definitely think you can get away with taking Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac to reset it to move to the Oculus Ring. For the passives, Near-Death Experience, we don't want to die. I will show you footage of the most dangerous mobs you can fight, and you will notice that they proc me multiple times, but they can never kill me. It's because of this passive. I would recommend taking it. Resolve, enemies are going to deal 20% less damage. We're a support character, makes sense. Beacon of Ytar, 20% increased cooldowns. We need cooldown to keep our Epiphany up all the time. And finally, Seize the Initiative. You don't have to take this passive. You could instead take a survivability passive like Harmony, for example. But I like Seize the Initiative. When we hit enemies above 75% health, it's going to increase our attack speed by 30%. This is really going to help us stay alive and heal more. In the cube, Executioner, when we hit enemies below 10% health, they're instantly going to die. If for some reason your Barbarian is taking this, then you can take something else, but it works just fine on the Monk, so I run the Executioner in our group. Illusory Boots, you absolutely must have these so you can move through the enemies to move to the Oculus Ring. And then you will spam Exploding Palm with Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac to reset your Sanctuary to make sure that the Witch Doctor stays alive. And then, of course, in the cube, Obsidian Ring to do exactly what we just explained, to reset your Sanctuary. If you really don't want to play Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac and you don't feel like you need to reset your Sank immediately, you could take a Fire Immunity Amulet, Star of Askranth, or you could take the Countess Julia's Cameo, I believe it's called, to be immune to Arcane. Onto the Paragon Points. First max your movement speed and then your maximum spirit. And then I would always recommend go half and half in dexterity. Half and half the whole way. And that seems to give me the highest survivability. For offense, we want cooldown reduction first and then attack speed, and crit hit damage and crit hit chance are completely useless for us. You can put them in if you want, but they don't help at all. All resistance, it would be first for defense, then life, then armor, and then life per second. And finally, in utility, we want resource cost, then life on hit. Do not take any area damage. You cannot have any area damage anywhere, and you don't want any area damage in Paragon Points because it lags the game. We don't do any damage anyway. So no area damage, and Gold Find, of course, doesn't help us at all either. Alright, let me take you into some footage so I can show you exactly how this build works. We'll jump into a 149 here. We've been running those to get all of our gems up to 150, and I will show you a very, very dangerous mob type, the fatties that explode, which can kill me, or one of the few mobs that can kill me. And I almost let them proc me initially, because that's not a problem, but once I'm on proc, you'll see I play slightly differently to make sure I can stay alive, because if I die, my teammates are in big trouble. Let me show you how it works. Alright everyone, let me show you how this build works in a 149. So we zone into a festering woods, and we've got fatties, which are very, very dangerous and can kill my monk, so I'll show you how to handle that as well. So they've flagged where we're going to go. I drop a sank, and I'm spamming constantly my mantra at number 1, my epiphany at number 2, and my serenity in number 4. I do my best to stand still by putting my cursor in the dead center of the pack. I found that that's the best way to hold still. And I'm waiting for our witch doctor, Mr. Snail, to make an Oculus ring. There is the Oculus ring. I spam exploding palm to reset my sanctuary. I move to the right and I make sure he's got a sank in the Oculus ring. It's always that rotation. And you can see I stay in the middle there and I proc with my cheat death. You can see that in the bottom right corner. So now I know on this hit, if I just stand in the middle, if there's 10,000 fatties, that I'm going to die. So I'm going to have to move out when that happens and make sure that I stay alive, because if I die, it's going to be a chain reaction and everybody else is going to die. So you're spamming 1, 2, and 4 all the time, or mantra, epiphany, and serenity. And then you place your sank in the dead middle, and when the Oculus ring spawns for the witch doctor, you spam exploding palm, which will reset your sanctuary, and then you move to the Oculus ring and drop the sanctuary where the witch doctor will be. So we're here, I'm putting my cursor in the middle, punching all the time. There's the Oculus ring. I move over, the corner of it should already be touching Snail, but that's okay, I'll put it in the dead center of him. I want him to survive. And there you have it. So there, my cheat death procced again. So once again, during this pull, I'm going to need to make sure that I get out of the explosions about 1 second early to make sure that I'm not a monk pancake. We drop the sank right in the middle. We punch, punch, punch. Just want to hold still so the witch doctor knows exactly where the sanctuary is going to be. I'm waiting for him to spawn an Oculus ring. You'll know that he's going to start spawning it when you see their health start to go down, down, down. You know the Oculus ring is coming. There's the attack. There's the Oculus ring. When you get very lucky, it can just spawn in the middle there, so I barely had to move. And I need to move out of this hit or I'm going to die. So there we go. There's some molten explosions. Those will also kill me. Stay away. And that's all there is to it. Let me fast forward to the boss and show you how to do that. Alright, boss time. Here we go. Boom. Get out of those explosions. On the boss, you do not want to spam your crippling wave. There's really no reason to. I just tap it about once every 3 seconds. You'll notice on the right that my spirit is starting to drop. Just make sure you have enough spirit to keep spamming your mantra, but you shouldn't be holding down crippling wave tsunami, because if you get a bunch of freezes on the boss, then when the barb is supposed to stun during holy, the crusader will not get the full damage that they should, because the hard CC from the freeze is going to interrupt the full duration of the stun. That was a very fancy way of saying our freeze interferes with the stun. It's going to make the crusader do less damage. So, same thing as always. Spam your mantra, spam your epiphany, spam your serenity. Keep sanctuary right under the boss for the crusader. You don't ever have to use your exploding palm. You shouldn't have to reset your sank unless you get wormhole or something. And just tap tsunami until the boss is dead. That's all there is to it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this new version of the monk getting into metas. It's the easiest way to get started. It's probably the easiest role to play. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I read every single comment on every single video. Thank you.